Hello ladies and gentlemen, this video will be for you for year 2025, analysis of your ascendant from sidereal and also from tropical modern astrology perspective. So for example, if you would have ascendant sidereal ascendant Aries, your tropical ascendant will be Taurus. If you don't know at what time you were born, then you apply the moon sign. So it would be moon in Aries. Sidereal astrology would correspond to moon in Taurus, tropical modern astrology. So this will be how I will be looking at the 12 ascendants. Also, why we look at the ascendants? Because this, according to the ancients, very ancient tradition, the Ascendant is the house of life. This is more important even than the lunar sign or than the solar sign. So we derive the horoscope first from your rising sign, from your ascendant. So this is how I will be looking at your ascendant and your future year 2025. And of course, what I will do is I will be looking at the most important transits. They are so very important for year 2025. And of course, we'll be looking at the eclipses. They are also very, very important because in year 2025, the lunar nodes change positions and also with themselves, they take the eclipses. Also, we're looking at a major conjunction of trans-Saturn planets and so on. So this will be a general analysis of your future for 2025. If you want to have very specific, very detailed reading with me, which will include primary directions, which will include the method of Time Lords techniques, which will include progressed horoscopes and solar revolution, then you may like to book a personal reading with me. And for year 2025, you can find a reading with a discount, which is valid for the month of December and also January. So if you want to have discounted reading, detailed analysis of your future and of your natal horoscope, you may book such reading with me. So let's hear now your ascendant, description of your ascendant and the future of 2025 for you. Hello ladies and gentlemen with sidereal ascendant Leo or moon in Leo. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this will be Virgo. So sidereal ascendant Leo or tropical astrology ascendant Virgo, or like I'm telling you, if you do not know your time of birth, then you can apply your moon sign to this reading. Then it will be moon in Leo sidereal or tropical modern astrology. This will be moon in Virgo. So this video will be about the future 2025, the most important transits, and also we'll be looking at the 2 lunar and 2 solar eclipses. They are very important. Like I mentioned, the lunar nodes change their positions in year 2025. This will be general reading. So like I mentioned earlier, if you want to have more detailed reading where we will be applying many other different techniques in order to have specific predictions, then we may look at your horoscope. But this reading could be really useful for you as it will give you the main indications of the events of 2025. So for your ascendant, very important change will take place. Now as we speak, still in year 2024, Saturn is in sidereal Aquarius. This is your 7th house. And Saturn is in his own kingdom almost 3 years already. On the 6th of April, he will leave sidereal Aquarius and he will enter your 8th house. Now he is in the 7th house, from where I'm sure he made important changes in your life, some of them related to your private, romantic life, agreements, partnerships, businesses, and because he's supposed to fulfill the karma for your 7th house. So on 6th of April, he is leaving your 7th house and he will enter Pisces. And here come the interesting movements of Saturn. When he will leave your 7th house, Saturn will be invisible. When a planet is invisible, we perceive these planetary energies in very, very different ways. Then the planet doesn't work evidently on visible in our reality ways. The planet works on a subtle level, and later we see what actually the planet caused in our lives. So on 30th of April, actually, after the planet Saturn entered Pisces, Saturn becomes visible, and this is very important. Saturn becomes visible in Pisces, your 8th house, and with this Saturn is starting a new cycle. In your 8th house, Saturn will be transforming your 8th house, but in a very different way, because Saturn in Pisces is really very different. There he is not as powerful as he would be in Aquarius. Saturn in Pisces works on subtle levels, very deeply, very emotionally. He can cause his transformation. In Pisces also he is very much related to our intuition, spirituality, health as well. Pisces is a sign which is also deeply karmic. So Saturn in Pisces will be very, very transformative, but from the very deep levels of our souls. So he will work on us this time quite, I would say, very, very intrinsically, deeply, emotionally, on our feelings as well. So Saturn becomes visible on the 30th of April. When he becomes visible, there he will meet Venus, Neptune, Mercury, and also the lunar node Rahu. This becomes big conjunction event, which will produce an event, 8th house event for your horoscope. 8th house is the house of the money, also from unexpected sources, very financial. But because in Pisces there will be Venus and Mercury, which rule your career place, gains, 11th house, also a 3rd house of your communication, knowledge, studies, and also 3rd house I mentioned. Another Mercurian house is your 2nd house, money. This is how this conjunction will have impact on your lives for the year of 2025. Why I say this? Also because classically, as we know, still for our era, one of the equinoxes, the vernal for the northern hemisphere, or for the southern, this will be the autumn equinox, also happen in the 5th degrees of Pisces. So on the 30th of March, when the sun enters this degree and the moon appears for the first time, again we will have emphasis on this 8th house of yours, on Pisces, but also on Aries, because the moon appears for the first time in Aries on the 30th of March, and this will be the first appearance of the moon after the sun enters the equinox point, and this will be the beginning of the lunar new year. This is how the ancients would look at the calendar. So we have emphasis on these very important signs again. This is your 8th house with this giant great stellium of many planets conjunction in your 8th house, but also on your 9th house, which 9th house is very martial. So Mars automatically becomes important planet which will influence the collective each one of us also in year 2025. Therefore, in a moment we'll be looking specifically at the most important transits of Mars. So Mars appears for the first time on your ninth house to give you not Mars, the moon appears for the first time in your ninth house to give you very good drive to study, desire to travel, to communicate, to do great media work for yourself, very visible most probably. But we still look at this big stellium which will take place in Pisces. Also, you see, this is we should look specifically at the placement of Venus, which will be exalted. So she will be quite powerful, very powerful in Pisces, and the planet which has the highest dignities, actually the most prominent joyful placement is for her is Venus in Pisces. Saturn is peregrine, Mercury is fallen, Neptune is on a throne in his own place, and the Sun is having very spiritual, amazing role in Pisces. So all these 5 planets will be conjoining, especially after Saturn on 6th of April will enter Pisces. Now, this specific conjunction of Pisces on your 8th house will impact your finances. Could be that this is related to money from unexpected sources somehow, or this you may have a little bit of challenging experiences related to finances, especially if there will be in your life matters like money from insurances, from inheritance, from some sorts of partnerships. There you most probably see very important events that will take place, especially after Saturn will leave the 7th house. So there will be some resolution, financial, mainly related to finances. Whether this is good or bad, this is we cannot name things this way. We can be very specific if we see your specific personal horoscope. But the good thing is that Jupiter is forming good aspect sextile from Taurus, and basically Jupiter and Venus will be having exchanged places, and this is valid until 19th of May, because on 19th of May Jupiter is changing place and he is entering Gemini, where he will not be very powerful. He will be there peregrine, but Jupiter in your 11th house is good because he will be sextiling your ascendant, and he is basically entering the house of gains. So he will give certain dose of blessing, if we can say so, on your finances. He can also be very benevolent for some connections, for of yours, for your social circle. So he can have a very good role for you too. So on this is happening on 19th of May, but let's follow some time line if you want. Let's start with January. From 7th to the 16th of January, first of all, the whole month of January, Mars will be on your 12th house. This would say that you may be a little bit responsible for your health. Specifically, be attentive to yourself, take good care of yourself. Be careful with hidden enemies, like be very intuitive. See who is really your friend or foe. Because Mars will have very long transit in Cancer in 2025. He will be for a very long time period in Cancer, of course, moving back and forth. So let me tell you, starting as of January, from 17th to the 16th of January, the retrograde Mars will be in a very specific, a little bit, how to tell you, disharmonious position in Cancer. He will be in a phase called the chronicle rise. That's why specifically then be a little bit careful. 17th to 16th of January, be careful for your health, with people who you call their friends but they may betray you. Like, be very intuitive. But then on the 17th of January, the retrograde Mars is entering Gemini, which is your 11th house. 11th house is benevolent house. This is the house of the good spirit. Mars is not so evil there, but he is peregrine. He doesn't have specific dignities in Gemini. That's why, especially if you're born in the day, be a little bit more attentive with children. Be careful with when you make sudden impulsive financial decisions. Make sure that you apply your intuition, you hear your inside voice. So on 17th of January he is entering Gemini, and actually he will be in Gemini until 7th of April. On 7th of April he is entering Cancer again. But on 24th of February he becomes direct, then he is a little bit less malefic. Mars direct is better than Mars retrograde. And then on 24th of February he becomes direct, and on 17th of April he is entering again Cancer. Now let me tell you, this is happening one day after Saturn will be entering Pisces. This is interesting because they are forming in a trine. This can make you very practical when it comes to your health. This will give you this energy of practicality when it comes to your health, when it comes to like winning over hidden enemies, let's say. This can be very practical when it comes to making important decisions related to matters like finances and health and so. Then interesting is that Mars becomes visible in the vicinity of Sirius, and this is very not visible. I say visible, no, he becomes direct. So he will be temporarily, as usual, stationary because before becoming direct. And this is happening, emphasizing on the star Sirius. This is a royal star. So this can give you actually very interesting, even positive event. It can bring you important connection in your life, important solution to some matters related to projects, financial matters and so. Then on 8th of June, the interesting thing is important, 8th of June to 30th of July, Mars will be on your ascendant. And he will be trined by Venus. This is good for you. Very productive period. Because I can tell you, Mars in Leo is powerful. He has his dignities in a fire in Leo. So this should be giving you good drive to study, to make communication, to travel, to teach. It is very, very productive cycle. On 30th of July, he is entering your second house, Virgo, and then he will be opposing Saturn and Neptune until 9th of August. This is a little bit a period of attention. Be careful. Especially for your health, for the health of your partner. Be careful when you make financial decisions. This is very important. Saying this, let's not miss important events. Let's go back to a month of May. On 19th of May, I mentioned already, Jupiter is entering Gemini. This where he is fallen there, but this is your 11th house and this is good for you. Then yes, he will be squared by Saturn from your 8th house, from Pisces, and this will be, how to tell you, this is square between Saturn and Jupiter always makes us to be careful when, especially when it comes to property, when it comes to important connections, when it comes to money. That's why this square, which will be valid for one full year, the whole year of 2025 until May of 2026, we'll say that when we make decisions related to property, to real estate, to important connections, to finances, we need to be careful. So this is for this. Now. Then another very, very important point not to forget to mention, which is Uranus, of course. On 18th of June, Uranus entered your 10th house. This is a very big deal. After 6th of April, Uranus and Saturn will make sextile, and this is good actually. This can be very positive for your career, for the changes that will take place in your career. Uranus and Saturn will make sextile. This is good because when they're in a square, this square can be quite heavy. So Uranus will be 7 years in Taurus, and you already since the summer of 2024 know what this means, because Uranus is ruling your 7th house. This is your relationship there. Uranus can be a little bit afflicting. He may be more afflicting and more testing your romantic life after Jupiter is away, because Uranus will be alone in Taurus to form square to your 7th house. So your relationship can be tested, your business partnerships as well, your business entrepreneurship can be tested a little bit. So but the good thing is that Jupiter from your 11th house as of 19th of May will be very helpful. So this is not to underestimate, of course. Now another very important thing, on the 12th of July, Saturn stationary, Neptune stationary are forming conjunction in Pisces. This is happening in the 7 degrees of Pisces. Very, very, very important. When we look from the perspective of the mundane astrology, and I've been searching for historical events which happened while the same conjunction happened in the past, I tell you, important events like the fall of the Berlin Wall took place on such conjunction. Putin was born. Many important events, all which indicate major change of the social system in the world, if you want, the fall of Berlin Wall. And when this is happening on your 8th house, easily this could be related to important financial changes, especially related to money from partnership, money from unexpected sources. Like I said, I cannot tell you how exactly this will be seen in your chart. For this we have to consult the personal chart, but this is indicating important change. This is 12th of July. Very important conjunction. On this conjunction I will make separate video only on this conjunction. This is in July. And this is the good thing, is that on the 14th of July, Jupiter becomes visible for the first time in the 13 degree Gemini. But because Jupiter is dispositor of Pisces too, and he's not very, very powerful, his help will not be very, very prominent. But it is a help, of course. 14th of July, Jupiter becomes visible for the first time. Now a little bit more details also on Jupiter. On 19th of May, he enters Gemini. On 6th of June, he becomes invisible for 1 month. When he will be invisible from 6th of June to 14th of July, yes, we'll be missing him a bit. Then he's not denoting so much of blessing. This is important to consider. Then what else? Let's go back to let's say 2-3 words about Venus. Then I will tell you about the lunar nodes and the eclipses. On 18th of April, Venus is entering Pisces, but she will not be alone. I told you, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury in Pisces. This is quite serious conjunction. Then Venus, even if she's very powerful and exalted in Pisces, this serious conjunction is seriously emphasizing on Pisces, on the energy of the collective, on the karma of all of us, on the important natural, if you want, the nature events which would take place, and so on the finances, because when Venus and Saturn are conjoined, usually this is not so very good for the finances. Then on 1st of June, she's entering your ninth house, this is good. She's fallen, but still she's trying in the ascendant to support study, communication, travel. She's leaving on 30 June and is entering Taurus for 1 month, which is your 10th house, and she will be blessing your career, your growth, and so on. 4th of July, Venus is becoming invisible. She's conjoining the Sun in the 5th degree. What am I saying? No, sorry. She's conjoining actually Neptune. This is very important. Venus is conjoining Neptune, Uranus. So on 30th July, she's entering Taurus. On 4th of July, exact conjunction between Venus and Uranus in the Pleiades. Of course, this will indicate an event very important. Financial could have impact on your career. I don't think this will be something bad, but it will be important and changing. And then on 27th of July, Venus will be in Gemini, in her own triplicity. Financially, this can be of a good help. And on 3rd of November, Venus is entering Libra, also very good for communication for you, for travel, until 27th of November. And on 27th of November, she's entering Scorpio for approximately 1 month. She's fallen there, but you know, wherever Venus is, she always manages to give some kind of blessing to this area of our life, which the house where she is representing. So saying this, let me also tell you a few words about the eclipses. They will influence your horoscope. Now, in the year 2024, we had 4 eclipses, 5 actually, but one remained arguable, because it was astronomically mentioned as an eclipse, but then it was almost an eclipse anyway. Let's say we had 4 eclipses and not 5. All 4 eclipses took place on the axis of Pisces Virgo. This is because the lunar nodes were on the axis of Pisces Virgo, which happens to be the area of your 2nd and 8th houses, and most probably this indicated for you change in family rules, communication in family, but a lot also in your finances, your financial orientation, how you make your money. But because on 30 April the lunar nodes, which are moving backwards, retrograde, will enter Leo Aquarius, also the places of the eclipses will change. So we will basically have one eclipse in March, one eclipse, actually 2 eclipses on the axis of Leo Aquarius, and 2 eclipses on the axis of Pisces Virgo. So Rahu, the head of the dragon, who now is in Pisces, will on 30th of April, retrograding, will enter the last degree of Aquarius, and Ketu, who now is in Virgo, the tail of the dragon, will be retrograding, and on 30th of April will enter Leo. So during the next 18 months after the 30th of April, the lunar nodes will be on your axis of ascendant and descendant. And Ketu, the lunar node, who is related to past karma, who is related to previous incarnations, the memories which you bring from before, the talents, the expertise, will come on your ascendant. And the head of the dragon, who is related to what we are driven to achieve in this lifetime, what we are strongly attracted to reach, to achieve, will be on your 7th house. So basically, for the next 18 months after 30th April, you will be selfless. You will not be thinking so much about yourself. You will be thinking more about your partner, the others. You will put partnership before yourself. This will be because Rahu will be on your 7th house to emphasize on a partner. People who are not in partnerships will be very driven with Leo ascendant, will be very driven to find partner, to get married, to be in partnerships. Also, some will be driven to have, for example, to be in a business partnership. They will find this to be very fulfilling, very important for them. But also, two of the eclipses will happen on this axis, and this is the portal for change. So you, in order to be very balanced and the eclipses not really to influence you, you may need to make sure that you love yourself, appreciate yourself, your talents, reach very good really self-appreciation. This is very important. And also please note that when the eclipses are taking place on such important axes as your ascendant descendant, you may need to be careful, especially 15 days before eclipse, 15 days after, because the eclipses are portals for change. And when the eclipse energy is about to be completed, you know, then you will see where things are heading. You will be able to make decisions then, but not during this eclipse time period. So the eclipses are for 15th of March, and then 29th of March, 7th September, 21st September. So these two axes are still involved: Virgo, Pisces, Leo, Aquarius. So still the axis of finances will be very much emphasized, but also the axis of you, your personal, your personality, and also the personality of your partner. Therefore, be a little bit careful when you make decisions about partnerships, about business, about finances, and make these decisions after the eclipses are over. Let's say you have eclipse on 15th of March and then 29th of March. This whole month, wait a little bit. Let these energies go, and then make your important decisions. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this was informative for you for the year of 2025. This is for people with ascendant Leo, sidereal or tropical Virgo. Of course, like I mentioned, if you want very detailed information, we may need to look at your personal horoscopes, but I hope this is already indicative of the future events for you. Be happy. I wish you great 2024. All the best. Bye bye.